Now to more breaking news. A 7 Action News crew finds a man bleeding to death while trying to find out information about a shooting last night. 7 Action News reporter Kimberly heard his screams for help. Kim, I was watching your Facebook Live, a remarkable story. Walk us through what happened and how is this man?
Well, the man is talking. That much we can tell you right now. He is talking. Take a look behind me here. You can see the EMS rig right there. He is in the back of that ambulance right there. And this was very surreal. I'm telling you, I've been reporting for almost 25 years, and I don't think I've ever been able to say that I think we just saved a man's life. But if you pan left over to the greenhouse, that's the house that he was in. We were knocking on that door because we were checking on a shooting from yesterday that happened next door at the White House that's just to the left of that house. And after I got done knocking on the greenhouse where the man was, you could hear somebody yelling. He was yelling, "Help me, help me." And we didn't know where the sounds were coming from. And so we walked off the porch and you could hear the man from the side window over here. He was yelling, "Help me, I'm bleeding to death." Now, mind you, it was very confusing because we were here following up on a shooting that happened next door yesterday where a man was killed. No one arrested during a shooting that took place around 6 p.m. yesterday here on Fleming Street. We are on Fleming, and I apologize, I do not have a cross street for you, but we're on the 19,400 block of Fleming. I immediately called 911, and Danny, my photographer, was talking to the man we laid back because we didn't know what was going on. It was very confusing. And Danny, what was the man telling you from the window?
He kept saying, I was shot last night, and I've been laying here since last night. Please help, don't leave me.
Yeah, and the man was telling us that he was bleeding to death, and Danny was able to talk to him. He told you, Danny, what happened, because he knew about this shooting yesterday, or he had some sort of information, because he said he was at the store when that happened.
Yeah, he actually missed his neighbor getting shot last night, but when he got home, he heard about it, and he must have been in his house. Next thing you know, somebody knocks at the door, and some other men showed up and shot him. So the scene must have cleared before.
Absolutely. So the scene cleared. This man obviously didn't have any access to a phone. The scene cleared from yesterday's shooting at the house next door. Somebody came back and shot the neighbor. I don't know, and we don't know the circumstances around the initial shooting, homicide. But we don't know. Maybe the shooter thought that there was a witness next door, but the man said he was at a store. He says he just came back from the store last night. We don't know how long he had been laying in his house bleeding, but the man was adamant that we call for help. So we called for 911, and now you're looking at the man being brought out of the house right now. And when police arrived, they couldn't just get in the house. Mind you, the man is inside bleeding. He's telling us he's bleeding to death. He may have been laying in front of the door, so police were having a hard time. They tried to use their battering ram to get inside the house, but they were eventually able to get inside, and the man has been taken to the hospital. He's going to be taken to the hospital here. They're likely still stabilizing him. This is all happening now, probably in the last 20 to 30 minutes, probably 30 minutes now, but just a very unusual scene, I will say the least. Question now is, you got to believe that these two shootings are connected. Again, police did not have anybody in custody for yesterday's homicide, Joanne, at the house next door. This man saying somebody came after that scene cleared and shot him, and he's been laying in his house, unable to call for help since then, until we came along and he asked us to call 911 for him. Back to you.
Kim, it's a remarkable story. It really is. You mentioned you've been reporting for decades and you've never had anything like this happen in your career. When you were talking to him, because you guys, I assume, couldn't get the door open, the police couldn't either. Were you talking through a door to him, through a window to him? How was that going on?
We were talking out this. Yeah, take a look over here. Okay, so there's the front door. You see the front door is open of the greenhouse. That's where he was. Yeah. There's a side window on the side closest to us. And that window, Danny, was that window open? It wasn't. The window wasn't open, but there was some kind of opening, it looked like? The top of the door and the side door was blown out. Danny, describe what the side door looked like.
Well, the side door was left ajar slightly, but as we didn't approach that close. We didn't know what to do. So we were standing in the driveway talking to him, and we told him we wouldn't leave his side. But when the police arrived, he was laying in front of the door on the other side, so there was only like a 6-inch gap, and they couldn't get past it.
Yeah, so the man may have been able to crawl to the front door area, but I mean, my goodness, I mean, my heart is still racing from all of this, but thankfully, again, we were able to call 911 for this man and get him the help that he needs. And he is being treated by EMS right now. Will likely have to go to the hospital, but just a very frightening ordeal. And I can't even imagine what it was like for that man laying in his house overnight bleeding, as he said, bleeding to death. Now, I don't know how severe his injuries are, but he was telling us, he was even adamant, please don't leave me, please don't leave me, because we started to back up because police wanted us to give him some space, And so, but again, he's being treated right now, and hopefully we're hoping and praying for the best for him. Back to you.
Of course. Thank God you were there, Kim. Unbelievable. Thank you to both you and Danny for your work you've done today and for covering this. All right, in other news.